everyone, PushingUpRoses here, and welcome back to another thrilling episode of That Time on Murder, She Wrote, nominated as the best commentary channel about Murder, She Wrote. By me. Today I'm looking at another so-called unhinged episode, and I'm now using the word unhinged loosely because I felt like I've been let down by the lack of insanity of some of these episodes. Perhaps I've watched too many of these Murder, She Wrotes that I am now immune to nonsense. This episode was suggested to me by a viewer, so you can all thank them for bringing yet another Grady episode to the table. Get ready to marvel and wonder at episode 21 from season 6, titled The Szechuan Dragon. We begin our tale on the docks of an unnamed location, where a man who looks like the sea captain from The Simpsons hauls around what appears to be a dirty bag of laundry. Whoa, Carmen Sandiego.
Give it to me, now.
Oh, he gives it to her all right. Dude smacks her in the shoulder with his filthy underwear, and it's enough to knock her out. The captain removes the bullets from her gun and leaves her there. Later, she is back at her hotel room and joined by a colleague.
Did you get it?
My prize shovel. Everyone is being very vague on what it is they're looking for. I love that about murder mysteries. They can't just give away what the item is to the audience, so they say things like,
Give it to me.
I haven't got it.
Did you get it?
And they do that over and over again throughout the whole episode. For some reason, the captain was headed to Cabot Cove, so they'll be following him there. And of all places to go hide a valuable item, you chose Cabot Cove? I do like that it takes place here because we get to see some of our favorite characters, including Seth Hazlitt, who is meeting with Grady and a very pregnant Donna.
Grady, for heaven's sakes, being pregnant does not mean wait in the car.
It means I'm having a baby. It's important to me that you know that. Donna and Grady will be house-sitting for Jess while she visits her cousin Emma in the UK. You remember her, right?
You must be Grady and Donna.
Who the hell is this?
I'm Connie Lewis.
Who? I've literally never seen this person in the entirety of Murder, She Wrote.
I take care of Jessica's plants when she's away.
She's been in one episode. Her son Stanley comes home, a character we've never seen before, but allegedly has been Jess's neighbor the whole time. Aaron Carter. Before leaving the house, she makes a comment about how he's going to buy a new motorcycle. Jess gives them a call to let them know she'll be meeting the Queen, and damn, that's awesome. She's so lucky to be meeting the brilliant J.B. Fletcher. Jess also reminds them of a blue envelope that has some money for the plumber and where she can be reached. These two weirdos make it to Cabot Cove and wait for the sea captain to get off the bus, but arg, he does not. He accuses her of joining forces with someone only known as the Cambodian.
You're the one who was so sure you could learn who he was going to see in this backwater.
Hey, this town isn't a backwater. It's the murder capital of the world.
Carla, my dear, never lose your charming fire. It almost compensates for your pathological dishonesty.
This character has not lied a single time. As they leave, we get a quick look at this absolute badass of a sign for Navarro Inn, clearly owned by pirate Dave Navarro.
But that is not all.
Wait, Captain Fletcher? The captain is shown arriving 2 miles out, having hitched a ride with a truck driver, and I just want to say that this is the most stereotypical sea captain I've ever seen. Bushy gray beard, handlebar stash, peg leg. Is it mandatory in all media that sea captains have a peg leg or something? While Grady and Donna are unpacking, they almost knock over this thingy.
Ooh, this is gruesome.
It is? You think it's gruesome? They do a quick close-up on it alongside a Chinese music sting to let you know that this is, in fact, the Szechuan Dragon, and it looks fine! Everyone keeps calling it hideous, and I don't understand it. Grady picks up some fish at the local market, and the merchant explains to him how to cook it.
A little garlic, great for the missus. Costs nobody, but nobody does it better than your aunt.
That's what he said? Stanley, the neighbor, stops by the market, acting salty about something. We also meet this guy. Yep. He sure is there. At 4:45 in the morning, Donna hears somebody breaking into the house. Grady goes to take a look, and Donna tries to find something to use as a weapon and grabs a hairdryer. Get him, Donna! Feather his hair! Oh my god! They broke the lamp?!
You know, this lamp had to be one of her favorites.
Right? A moment of silence for the lamp, please. So this guy is dead. Yep, it's the sea captain. Sheriff Metzger determines a blow on the head from the base of the lamp took him out.
More coffee, Sheriff?
Oh, you just said the magic word.
Is it just me, or is everyone acting really casual about this murder? Yeah, more coffee? Want some sugar? Couple sugar cubes? Everything's fine. Oh, just watch out for the corpse. The captain was found with a key to Jessica's door and a letter in a language nobody can read.
I don't recall her ever offering me a key.
Ouch, friend-zoned. Jess calls while everyone is there looming over the body.
Grady, is everything all right.
Everything is fine! The hilarious thing about this episode is that nobody wants to upset Jess while she's in the UK, so they opt to not tell her about the murder that was committed in her living room. Grady does try to sneakily see if he can get any info about the victim, telling Jess that somebody stopped by, asking if she knows him, and describing what he looks like.
Gray beard, bushy eyebrows, a wooden leg.
Named Smith? She says he doesn't sound familiar and they hang up. The next morning, these two discuss the murder of the captain, which was announced on the radio. I finally learned this dude's name, which is Justin, and he is increasingly suspicious that Carla is hiding the thing from him, and by this point you probably determined that the thing is this ugly statue.
Ugly, ugly! Ooh, are you ugly? Nobody likes you.
So far, there aren't many leads to go on, and then our sweet summer boy, Deputy Floyd, recognizes the language of the letter found in the captain's pocket.
That looks like Greek to me.
Yeah, tell me about it.
No, really. There's a theta, zeta, and that's an epsilon, my college fraternity.
Nick Carter? Metzger goes to the fisherman to ask him to translate the letter. Stanley stops in to collect his paycheck, then leaves on a very noisy motorcycle, presumably the new one his mother said he was going to buy. The letter is seemingly a dead end, as Nick says it just reads like a vacation postcard. The guy, who is seriously only credited as the Cambodian, goes to Jess's place and convinces Grady he needs to look at the phone, and Grady just lets him in, even though the phone had been working just fine. The guy starts looking around, ignoring all the telephones in the house.
There's the phone. It's right behind you.
Actually, the phone I'm looking for looks like a dragon. Have you seen it? Grady realizes he's an imposter and calls him out.
Would you mind showing me some identification?
This is my favorite Grady face. Classic. The guy tries to roundhouse Grady, misses, so he decides to obliterate all the dishes on the counter.
Give me what I'm looking for.
Once again, no one actually describes what they're looking for, and when Grady asks what it is, the dude gets mad.
Do you suppose you can give me some kind of idea of what you want? I mean, really? No!
Why can't anyone just call it a dragon statue? Suddenly the cops show up and the man flees. Later we see him meditating in the most cinematic way possible. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. And remember to sweep the leg. We then see Justin walk up behind him saying that Carla doesn't know anything, and damn, this episode is confusing. It feels like nothing is happening, just people telling each other to find the thing that they refuse to name. Oh, thank God, the plumber finally showed up. Had he not, we wouldn't have realized that the money in the blue envelope is now missing.
The killer.
Jinx. In case you forgot, the episode reminds you that the dragon statue is still in Jess's closet. You know, this hideous abomination. While looking at the family photo album, Donna finds a photo of the captain with Grady's great aunt Harriet. Determined to learn more, he calls Jess right away to ask about the photo. She says she remembers now. His name was Herbert.
Oh, of course. That must have been Herbert. What was it, Malachi? Herbert Malachi.
Malachi.
She says her Aunt Harriet had dated him for a while and she only met him once or twice. Jess asks how everything is and Grady says fine and mentions that the neighbor got a new loud motorcycle. What an interesting thing to mention. I wonder if that will come back later in the story.
I'm gonna get a glass of milk.
Ew. I don't know why Grady needed to do this in secret, but he goes to the kitchen to call Metzger and tell him about Herbert. Suddenly there's a knock on the door, and because Grady is an idiot, he lets them in. Seriously, what is wrong with him? Stop letting strangers into the house. It's Carla, and she asks him if this is where her dad, Captain Malachi, died. Wait, that was your dad? The guy who bashed you in the shoulder with a dirty laundry bag? She suddenly gets really cozy with Grady, stroking his shoulders and giving him seductive hair rub-ins. She explains that her father, which I think is likely a fib, left an important artifact in her house.
The object I'm speaking of was given to Jessica Fletcher by Miss Harriet Lanahan.
I don't know why Grady is not resisting any of this, but after she convinces him to help her find the thing that no one will name, she kisses him. Sort of. More like lip smashing. Donna finds them, but Grady is saved by some car screeching outside. Carla decides to split, thinking it's her colleague, Justin.
This thing you're after, you never told me what it is.
Look, I beg you, don't do business with Honeycutt.
Okay, but that's not an answer. Why won't anyone say what they're looking for?
Give it to me, now.
I haven't got it.
Did you get it?
Give me what I'm looking for.
Justin, I don't have it. Father came to this house to retrieve an extremely valuable object.
Well, who else do you think is after this whatchamacallit? Do you suppose you can give me some kind of idea of what you want? I mean, really? No!
The doorbell rings and... unbelievable. Grady answers the goddamn door again. Luckily for him, it's just Metzger and Floyd. After doing a search on the captain's name, it's discovered that Malachi had been smuggling artifacts into the US and also does not have any children.
Can't believe I believed her.
I can.
Get him, Donna. Knowing that someone might try to break into the house again to look for the thingy, Metzger decides he needs to have a deputy stay there for the night, so he chooses Floyd and his one brain cell. The next morning, Floyd is found tied to a chair and the house is ransacked. Gosh, everyone is doing such a great job. Jess knows deep down something is going on, so she calls Seth to ask him to check up on Donna and Grady in the house, to which he flat out lies and says everything is fine. Jess asks him if he knows anything about Captain Malachi and proceeds to tell him that her aunt dated him and was a sweet woman.
You know, she was so upset that she had nothing to leave me in her will. So on her deathbed, she insisted on giving me what has to be the ugliest little statuette that I have ever seen.
In what world is this ugly? What is wrong with everyone? This is a perfectly normal statue. Donna brings Metzger to the closet where they initially put the dragon, but it's gone. Metzger has a feeling Nick lied to him about the letter translation, so he asks another Greek fisherman to translate. It actually talks about a priceless dragon statue. Nick knew that when he read it, lied to Metzger, then stole the dragon himself because his business wasn't doing well. Even though he took the statue, he is not the murderer.
Oh, by the way, how'd that scrod turn out?
Sir, not the time. While Metzger books Nick for Grand Theft Dragon, Seth comes in after doing some research on the statue, which is called the Szechuan Dragon from the Tang Dynasty. It hopped around a lot over the years and is now worth 8 figures. Not so ugly now, is it? To be honest, since I've been studying ceramics, I researched the pottery of the Tang Dynasty, and I gotta say, this doesn't look like anything like that from that era, but hey, the writers tried. Sort of. Because Jess is an observant queen, she finds out about the murder and calls Metzger about it. He begins to explain, then we cut to Donna ordering a sundae at the diner. She sees Carla and the man who broke into the house and places them under citizen's arrest. The man grabs her arm and she cries out for help, and this moron is like, please if you could be quiet.
Quiet, please be quiet.
Luckily, the entire football squad is there. What did they think was going to happen? He tried to hurt a pregnant woman in public. Did they think no one would intervene? Believe it or not, Jess has her epiphany over the phone. Yes, she figures out the murder while she's in the UK despite having witnessed absolutely nothing, and guess what? It is literally none of these goons. Machine Gun Kelly? It's Stanley. Yeah, remember this guy who had maybe 30 seconds of screen time? Somehow Jess figured out that he needed money for a new motorcycle, so he burglarized her house. He was caught by Malachi when he was there to find the statue, so he bopped him on the head with a lamp. He actually didn't really care about the dragon. He just went for the envelope with the money in it, and he was able to get in with his mother's key, the one Jess lent her to get in to feed her plants. So what does he have to say in his defense?
That bike is so hot.
All the other dragon stuff? Just red herrings when it comes to the actual murder. At the station, Grady drops it and smashes it into a million pieces. They figure out quickly that it's fake. Then Seth has a brilliant idea. He pretends there was a key in the statue and tells them that it will probably open whatever box the real statue is in. The dragon statue chasers run after the Cambodian man, and Seth says,
That's just the key to my old fishing tackle box.
Perfect. No notes. Okay, final thoughts on the Szechuan Dragon. This was a very fun episode with way too many characters doing way too many things, making it confusing as hell. Jessica is barely in it, even though the mystery is solved by her, over the phone, which is maybe one of the more unbelievable things I've seen in a Murder, She Wrote script, and trust me, there are many. Since I like Donna and Grady, I could forgive the lack of the wonderful Angela Lansbury, though if you decide to watch this one, just prepare yourself for Grady cheesing it up in every scene he's in. I also refuse to think that this statue is ugly. Do you think it's ugly? Sound off in the comments. Tell me what you think, and if there is an episode of Murder, She Wrote you are dying to see me cover, please leave a suggestion, as that is how I choose them for these reviews. Until next time, happy sleuthing. Hey everyone, thanks again for watching my video on the Szechuan Dragon. I hope you enjoyed all of Grady's bumblingness. If you want to see more from me, I have plenty of videos on this channel, but first be sure to check out my Patreon campaign and my other social medias where I complain about pottery. There's a link in the description full of other links. Neat. If you want more videos from me, I have a few suggestions on the screen. On the right is another review from my flagship series, That Time on Murder, She Wrote, and on the left I have an unhinged episode of The X-Files that I think deserves more viewership. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.